It's GameCube Index, and we gotta follow our rainbow. Sonic the Hedgehog is dead. He lived a good life, he had a good run, and before he left us, we were given the gift that is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Regarded by many to be a great swan song for Sonic, the Dreamcast, and even Sega as a whole, Sonic Adventure 2 was a hit when it was released on the Sega Dreamcast. It was when the game was ported to the GameCube with extra features as Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, however, that the title really shined. With 2 parallel storylines and 6 playable characters in the main game, as well as a fun and enhanced multiplayer mode, SATSB brought quite a bit to the table. Players can choose to either join the hero side, playing as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles to save the world, or join the dark side and play as Shadow, Eggman, or Rouge the Bat. Shadow made his debut in this game and served as a foil to Sonic himself. There were 3 basic level designs. The first was a high-speed race with classic Sonic gameplay in a 3D space through a track-like level as Sonic or Shadow. These levels relied mostly on speed and also incorporated rail grinding mechanics to move faster through the stage. They were fast, they were fun, and they stuck to the style of play that made Sonic great. The music was also awesome, like a terrible movie. I get Escape the City stuck in my head at least once a week. Tails and Eggman made their way through levels while confined to mechs that can jump short distances, hover longer, as well as shoot enemies. These levels were typically filled with more enemies than normal, as well as destructible obstacles. This was where the game controls started to fall apart. Moving the control stick initially only controls the top half of the mech, and then with enough force will move the legs for mobility. There isn't any real way to aim to shoot, so more often than not the player is forced to run through the level while holding down the firing button, locking onto enemies and hoping to avoid danger. Knuckles and Rouge's levels were unique in that they were not course tracks like the rest of the game. They were contained areas and were not linear. During these levels, Knuckles and Rouge would use their unique flight and digging abilities to find shards of Chaos Emeralds. This is where everything got terrible and everything was bad. The camera in the game can never be described as good in any level, but it gets really bad during these courses, as it follows the actions of the player and isn't very controllable. Coupled with the fact that for some reason every character in the game moves incredibly fast, there are some incredibly janky levels here. Handling is easier when gliding through the air, but Knuckles and Rouge both stick to any object that you come into contact with due to their digging claws. It turns playing the game into a chore, and while it was an inconvenience in 2001, it makes the game almost broken when revisiting it today. By far the best aspect of the game is the Chow Garden, where players raise Chow as virtual pets. As Chow are raised, they will gain levels in 5 attributes: swim, fly, run, power, and stamina. Baby animals rescued in the story mode can be given to the Chow to play with, and the Chow will take on attributes of the animals. For example, playing with a gorilla will increase power, seals will increase swim, etc. The Chow can also be entered to complete in karate and racing minigames. This is easily the cutest part of the entire game, and many hours of my childhood were spent raising and personalizing my Chow Garden. Using the GBA link cable, players could connect to Sonic Advance, Sonic Advance 2, and Sonic Pinball Party to transfer Chow to and from those games, or they could download a tiny Chow Garden to the GBA itself and play on the go, much like the island in Animal Crossing. There was even a way that players could connect the tiny Chow Garden to future Sonic Team game Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2, and unlock a special Tails Chow. More on that in the Phantasy Star episode. Multiplayer was enhanced in Battle with new upgrades and abilities for multiplayer characters. However, online play was removed in this version of the game. Big the Cat was also removed as a multiplayer character and replaced with a playable Dark Chow instead. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was well received by critics, and new characters Shadow the Hedgehog and Rouge the Bat went on to appear in subsequent Sonic games. Shadow even received his own entry in 2005, which was all around understood to be garbage. Again, more on that in the Shadow the Hedgehog episode. Revisiting it today, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle does not hold up as well as other GameCube titles, but it's still nice to revisit a game that used to hold so much of my attention. What wasn't nice, however, was that all of the game text was in Comic Sans. Comic Sans! That is it for this week's episode of GameCube Index. If you enjoy the videos every week, consider backing us on Patreon. Even $1 a month will do a lot to support the project and help improve the experience. It's entirely up to you. Either way, please continue to show your support by subscribing, sharing, following along on Twitter at GCNdex and at GCNdex.com. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in next time when we see just how many times cartoons can die in cell damage.